Now for our story. Ever since Bill Meade had declared his intention to fight for custody of the baby boy he believed to be his own, had refused to accept a quiet divorce, Kit Meade had been secretly worried, fearful. Then she'd had a showdown with Paul Cromwell, who learned during his trip to Wakefield that Kit had broken her promise to him, learned that she had planned to contest Bill's suit for divorce. When Paul had confronted her, had threatened to make trouble, Kit had realized that the truth, the fact that the baby was actually Lisa Fenner's child, might come out. And this afternoon, when she returned home, Kit had been told by Jessie Calvert that she had a visitor named Lisa Fenner. Kit knew that the deception was over unless she could somehow quiet Lisa, persuade her to leave. It was only a faint hope, Kit thought, but it was worth trying.
I'm not thinking of myself, Lisa. Surely you must recognize that. It's the child. Our feelings, yours and mine, are unimportant. Our only consideration should be the welfare of that baby. We both love him. You, because you gave birth to him, and I, because he's been in my care ever since he was born. I've watched him grow, worried about him.
Yes, kid, I know.
Because, Lisa, all the love I had ready for my own baby, the baby I lost because of you, I naturally transferred to this one. You can understand that, can't you?
You keep saying that. You keep reminding me.
I do because it's important. If I'd had my own child... Well, that's all over and done with now. It's your child we're thinking of.
My child, yes. He is my child.
But his future is the important thing. He has a good home here. He's healthy, protected. He'll grow up in security, have the best of everything. You know yourself that you can't offer him the same advantages. Isn't that right, Lisa? Isn't that true?
Oh, yes, kid, I suppose it is. I can't give him material things. But I love him, kid.
Of course you do. Then don't you see there's no choice for you? If you do really love your baby. Don't you see that there's no going back now? Since you gave him up of your own accord.
Oh, but I was wrong. I see that now.
Now it's too late, Lisa. You have to think of your child first and yourself later.
I do think of him first. But he's all I have. The only reason I have for going on.
And yet, Lisa, you must give him up. It's the only thing you can do for your son's welfare.
Oh, no. It's too much to ask.
But you must, Lisa. It's a sacrifice you must make.
A sacrifice. Oh, but I can't. The baby's all I have. I'm so alone. I'm so tired I can't think clearly. Do I have to make this sacrifice because I gave him up in the first place?
I'm afraid so, Lisa. It's too bad, but you see, there's no going back.
But there must be some way. My own son.
No, Lisa. There's only one way. You know that in your heart, don't you? Don't you?
All right, kid. If I have to, I have to. I'll give him up.
I knew you'd do the right thing, Lisa. I'm sorry, my dear, but...
Yes, I'll give him up. There's nothing more to say. I'll go.
You'll feel better soon, Lisa. I only wish I could help you in some way.
No, kid. There's nothing you can do. Nothing anyone can do.
So, with false compassion, an exultant Kit saw Lisa to the door. And Lisa left without her child. As she closed the door and turned away, Kit saw her father's wife watching her curiously.
I thought I heard the front door close.
You did, Jessie.
Oh. Well, then, is Mrs. Fenner gone already?
Yes. Yes, she just left.
What's the matter with you, Kit? Is there anything wrong in my being interested in the girl? After all, I spent quite some time with her waiting for you to come home. I couldn't just plant her in the study and leave her alone.
No, of course not. Besides, it was much more fun to pump her for all she was worth. You and your insatiable curiosity.
I've never understood why you're so secretive. You must have gone out, seen people. And yet this Mrs. Fenner...
You just can't stand it, can you, Jessie? The idea that you don't know everything I did while I was away. Well, it's a good thing I don't keep a diary. I'd have to put it in Dad's safe at night.
That's going a bit too far, Kit. I've never been accused of such a thing. I don't read other people's mail, either.
Well, if you don't, it's only because you're afraid you'd get caught at it. You're a blackmailer at heart, Jessie. That's how you forced Dad into marrying you. Now you're looking for a new supply of material. Well, you're not going to get it from me.
Well, perhaps not. Still, funny things do happen. For instance, this little Fenner person. My feeling is she had something on her mind. Something connected with you. And next time she comes...
No, Jessie. There's not going to be a next time. You'll never get anything from Lisa now. So you might just as well forget it. Because, you see, Lisa Fenner's not coming back.
With that, Kit dashed up the stairs to her room and locked the door. Now, she stood at the window, her heart pounding furiously. The scene with Lisa, and then Jessie. She kept thinking of Jessie's words, thinking how close her father's wife had come to hitting on the truth. And then she remembered Lisa's face as the girl had turned away from the house, leaving her child. It was much darker now. A storm was gathering. Where would Lisa go, Kit wondered. What would she do? At that moment, Kit was standing outside the Brown Palace Hotel, but she couldn't bring herself to enter the lights, the confusion of noises. She turned and walked away blindly.
Oh, it's so cold. I should have gone into the hotel. But I couldn't. I couldn't face the people. I'd have to smile, to speak. Where shall I go now? I've lost my baby. Paul's gone. Doesn't matter about Paul. I'm almost glad in a way. His contempt and kiss. Oh, but that's all over. She's right. I gave the baby out. I can't go back. I have to pay. Lonely. I didn't really love Paul. I was just lonely. I'm lonely now. This lonely last one here. At least he understood. He cared for me once. He did love me. But he's gone too. Everything's gone. Oh, it's so cold. It's getting darker. Darkness outside, inside, emptiness and fear. But nothing can hurt me now. Nothing can touch me, because I don't exist. I'm nothing. Nobody. Nobody. Without my baby. And it's my fault. I gave him the kid. I was afraid. And now I must pay for it. That's what Kid said. She was right. Doesn't matter what happens to me. The baby's safe. There's no choice, she said. You must sacrifice yourself. Yes, I'll go, Kid. I am going. But where? Where can I go? I'm numb. I don't feel anything. Yet I'm alive. Alive. But why? It's so hopeless, so useless. I've nothing to live for. Nothing to live for at all.
Lost, and by the winds, forgotten. A young woman whom Kit Meade had driven to the very extremity of despair. There may be much that you must answer for, Kit, before this night is over. Now for our story. For the first few days after his unexpected return home from overseas with the Marine Corps, Aunt Mary's son, Randy Lane, had spent most of his time with his mother. They'd always been such close companions. Now, after their long separation, they were making up for lost time. Wisely, Lefty Larkin, who'd been Randy's comrade ever since the boy was a youngster, had kept in the background. And today, his patience had been rewarded. Randy had suggested that the two of them go rabbit hunting, as they used to do in the old days. And so, immediately after lunch, they had set forth, bundled up with sweaters and corduroy jackets. The day was cold and gray. They took along a thermos bottle of hot coffee. Well, now it was growing dark. Sharp wind had come up, and as they walked along the riverbank on their way home, they unconsciously quickened their steps, thinking of the warm fire and hot dinner which waited for them at the farm several miles away.
Ah, boy, I've had a swell time today.
I'm ready anytime you are, Randy.
Hey, you know, this will probably sound funny, but the main kick I got out of hunting today was being able to walk along making noise if I felt like it, not having to be ready to duck every minute.
Yeah, I can imagine. Must have been pretty rugged where you were out in the South Pacific.
Yeah. Oh, well, a guy got used to it. But just the same, it's sure wonderful to be home. I even enjoy this cold weather. I think I've had enough of the tropics to last me the rest of my life.
I don't go for that heat much myself. I remember one time when I shipped out. I was about your age, I guess. Gosh, all I could dream about was a nice, icy blizzard.
Hey, speaking of blizzards, that fire's going to look awful good when we get home. That wind cuts right through you. Not that I'm complaining. I'll take this any day.
Doing anything special tomorrow?
No? Why?
I thought we might get busy and mend the roof of the barn. We had a storm a while back that blew off a lot of the shingles. I'd like to get it fixed up before the next storm comes along.
Okay, sure. So you and Mama done an awful good job keeping things up while I was gone, Lefty. The farm looks swell.
Well, there's a lot of work to be done. Always something.
Don't worry about it, Lefty. I've had enough of a vacation now. I'm all set to pitch right in. We'll get things taken care of in no time between us.
Fine. Aunt Mary will be pleased if we do. She worries when things get out of control.
I know she does. Mom always has liked things in apple pie order. I wish I could get her to start taking it easy, though. I think she's been working too hard.
Yeah, so do I. But you know your mother.
Yeah.
The only way to make her stop working is to tie her down. She's got more energy than most young women.
Boy, she certainly has. I don't know how she does it.
And yet, she always has time to sit down and listen to people's troubles.
Yeah. Say, speaking of troubles, Lefty, what about Peggy?
Peggy?
Yeah. Oh, she looks fine and all that, but, well, I've got a feeling she's not too happy.
Well, Randy, it's beyond me, the whole thing. I did hope that she and Nicholas Dorn would get married.
So, you know, Lefty, I like that fella. He seems okay.
You bet he is. But your mother wasn't in favor of the marriage from the start.
She seems to think Peggy'd be better off to wait a while.
Well, the thing is, Aunt Mary believes Peggy's still actually in love with Bill Meade. That's why she thinks it'd be a mistake for Peggy to make any definite move until Bill's got himself straightened out.
And that may take quite a while, from what I gather. The Calverts aren't going to let him get a divorce in custody of his child if they can help it. And even if he did...
That's what I say. Even if he did, I don't want to see Peggy's life all messed up like that. A man with a child.
Say, Lefty, do you like this Bill Meade?
No, I don't, and that's a fact. Why should I like him after the runaround he gave Peggy?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Funny, though, Mom seems to think there's quite a bit on his side. That he got a pretty raw deal from Kit and Ben Calvert. I've never met him, of course, but...
Raw deal, my eye. He's old enough to know his way around. If he'd had any sense, he wouldn't have let the Calverts get the jump on him in the first place.
Yeah, well, I guess there's nothing to worry about in the immediate future. I have sort of a hunch that things will work out all right for Peggy in the long run.
I only hope you're right. As it is, I just don't know.
Oh, by the way, I saw David Bowman the other day when I was in the bank.
You did, huh?
Yeah. Hey, what's this I hear about a feud between you two?
There's no feud. But if there's one thing I can't stand, it's a softy. And for my money, David Bowman's about as soft as they come.
Oh, come on now, Lefty. You don't really think that, do you? Why, when I went away, you two were bosom pals. Played chess together every other night.
Well, I'm older and wiser now. Besides which, any man as old as David who still believes in Santa Claus, well, it gives me a pain, that's all.
What do you mean he believes in Santa Claus?
Well, what would you call it? Here he knows very well the way Bill Meade treated Peggy, the way he wobbled around, blowing hot one day and cold the next. So what does he do? He turns over a very important job to him and trusts him with making important decisions. when the guy doesn't know enough to come in out of the rain.
Well, I don't know about that, Lefty. But it's a darn shame you and David can't get together again. I can tell he misses you from the way he talks. And after all, I'm sure he did what was best according to his lights.
Well, if he did, all I can say is his lights are pretty dim. Man, so are his wits.
Oh, good old Lefty. Gosh, it sure sounds good to hear you spluttering away again, like an outboard motor with a cylinder missing.
Yeah, I guess you're right, boy. I'm an evil-tempered, cantankerous old so-and-so.
No, you're not. You're one swell guy, Lefty. You know, I used to think about you a lot while I was away. Funny how you go back over things when you have a lot of time on your hands and nothing much to do about it.
Yep. But I'd hate to think you wasted your time thinking about an old goat like me. I thought you fellas spent most of the time thinking about girls.
Huh? Did you say you were an old goat? Didn't mean wolf, did you?
Yeah, speaking of girls, Randy, you know, there's one young woman who certainly used to look forward to your letters.
Oh? Well, I'm sure glad to hear it. But I don't know who you mean.
I mean Jane.
Oh, Jane Plummer.
That girl has a real soft spot in her heart for you, Randy.
Little Jane Plummer. She's a nice kid.
I like her a lot myself. And she's been very loyal to Peggy, too.
Oh, yeah, Jane would be. She was such a funny little kid. Always shy, sort of serious.
Yeah, she still is. But she's as warm-hearted as she can be. And sensible, too.
Yeah. Hey, look, Lefty. Isn't this where we used to go fishing in the summer? Just the other side of those rapids?
Yeah, this is a place.
Yeah, sure it is. And there's a deep place in that little cove on the other side where we guys used to swim sometime. Too far away for the girls to bother us.
Peggy used to get mad because you wouldn't let her tag along. That was during her tomboy stage.
Well, let's stop here a minute, Lefty. Gosh, it seems a long time ago.
That has been.
Yes.
Quite a while.
Awful long time. Hey, you know, the current's pretty strong right along here. I got a cramp once, Lefty. The guys had quite a time pulling me ashore. I never did tell Mom about that.
I should hope not.
Yeah, and there's the same old bridge.
Yep. And the fellows still bring their girls here at night in the summer, too.
When are they going to build a new one? I remember they were talking about it before I went away.
It's never gotten beyond the talking stage. Boy, they certainly ought to get rid of that old...
Hey. There's something new that's been added. Look, Lefty. That girl.
Yeah. I wonder where she came from. Seems to be all alone. I wonder what she's doing up there in this cold. I don't see a car around.
Oh, neither do I.
I think it's Miss... No, she's not tall enough. I don't believe I've ever seen that young woman before.
Well, whoever she is, she'll be catching a nasty cold if she stays out in that little thin suit. This is no day for admiring the scenery, if you ask me.
Which reminds me, let's get a move on. It'll be dark before long. Besides, Aunt Mary will be worrying if we don't show up in time for dinner.
Okay. Hey, wait a minute.
Huh? What's the matter?
That girl. Good Lord. Lefty, look.
It all happened so quickly. One moment, the young woman was standing on the bridge, motionless, looking down into the swiftly flowing waters. Then there was the sound of wood splintering as the railing cracked. And in the next instant, the horrified men on the bank saw the young woman's body hurtle down into the icy water. For a second, the two men were too stunned to move. And then Randy tore off his jacket, ran forward, and plunged over the bank into the water. Then he was swimming desperately toward the sinking woman. The woman we know to be Lisa Fenner. Now for our story. It was late dusk of a cold, windy day. Randy Lane, Aunt Mary's son, who had recently returned from overseas, and Lefty Larkin, with whom the younger man had a firm bond of friendship, had gone rabbit hunting in the afternoon, as much for the pleasure of tramping through the countryside, talking things over together, as for the hunting itself. It was growing dark as they paused on the riverbank near the old familiar bridge. As they stood watching the swift current of the river, swollen by the winter rains, they noticed the figure of a young woman standing on the bridge, looking down into the dark waters.
Hey, look, Lefty.
Huh?
There's a girl up there. Seems to be all alone, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I wonder what she's doing up there in this cold. I don't see a car around.
No, neither do I.
I think it's Miss... No, she's not tall enough. I don't believe I've ever seen that young woman before.
Well, whoever she is, she'll be catching a nasty cold if she stays out in that little thin suit. This is no day for admiring the scenery, if you ask me.
Which reminds me, let's get a move on. It'll be dark before long. Besides, Aunt Mary will be worrying if we don't show up in time for dinner.
Okay. Hey, wait a minute.
What's the matter?
That girl. Good Lord, Lefty. Look.
The old railing had torn loose. The men were horrified to see the girl fall into the icy waters which swirled beneath. After the first instant of paralyzed shock, Randy had torn off his jacket, had plunged in, and fought his way toward the place where the girl had disappeared. As Lefty stands on the bank, watching anxiously...
Hold on there. Hold on. There, I've got you.
Over here, Randy. Good work, boy.
Okay.
There, you're all right now. Here, I'll take her shoulder.
Oh, thank the Lord you were here. Got there just in time.
Yeah, under the bank here, Randy. Out of the wind.
Okay, Lefty. Now, you're all right. Just lie still.
Here, Randy. Here. Put my jacket around there.
Yeah, good idea. Let's get a fire going, Lefty.
Yeah, I'll get some wood.
Hey, any coffee left in the thermos?
I think so. Over there in the bank, right where you went in.
Okay. Yeah, I found it.
Oh, please.
Here, now, here's some hot coffee. It'll make you feel better. Yeah, now. Just drink it down.
I'll have a fire going in no time.
Good.
Oh, gosh. Don't tell me I'm out of matches. No. Now, here they are. Oh, darn that wind. There she goes.
Why, I'm sorry to be so...
Don't talk now. Plenty of time later. Lefty, we've got to get her home. One of us will have to run ahead and get the truck.
Yeah, I will. You're going to be okay now?
Sure. But make it as fast as you can.
You're right. So long.
So long. Oh, Lefty.
Yeah?
Tell Mom to get things ready, you know.
Don't worry, boy.
There, now, you mustn't cry like that. You're safe now.
Safe? No.
Oh, yeah, sure you are. Look, don't be frightened. It's all over. I've always said that old bridge was a menace. I'm sure glad we happened along when we did. Oh, here now. Give me your hands. Got to get that circulation going. I'll have you nice and warm in no time. Yeah. That feels better, doesn't it?
Please don't.
Now, the feet. Take those wet shoes off.
Oh, no, I'm all right.
Yeah. How you're shivering. Now, this may hurt a little, but it's good for you. I'm sorry. It's the best way, though. There. Now you're beginning to feel warmer, aren't you? Sure you are. Getting a little color in your face, too. And stop thinking about it. About what didn't happen.
About what didn't happen. Yes, that's what I'm thinking about.
I know you got a scare, but... Oh, here, better drink some more coffee. Hey, see how much better you are already?
All this trouble. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's all right. This is one of my favorite places to swim. But I usually go in the summertime.
Oh, you're all wet. You must be cold, too.
Oh, no, don't worry about me. I'm only glad we came by when we did.
I wish I could say I am, too. But I'm not sure it's so. I almost wish you'd left me.
Oh, hey, you don't mean that.
I do. Perhaps it was intended to be that way.
Oh, you don't really wish you were at the bottom of that river now? You can't. Well, that's no way to die. A pretty girl like you. Oh, living's too much fun. You really wouldn't want to be missing it all now, would you?
What difference does it make to me?
Oh, so that's the way it is, huh? You're unhappy about something. Well, whatever it is, it couldn't be worth giving up for.
You don't know.
Oh, but I do. Nothing's that bad. It can't be.
It's easy for you to say. You're strong. But I'm not. I'm weak and tired. So tired. That would have been the answer.
Oh, no. That's never the answer. You've got to give life a chance.
Oh, I've done that. I did give it a chance. But it wasn't any use, and I haven't any courage left.
You will have.
No. Sometimes you see there's nothing left. No reason to go on.
Well, maybe it just seems that way to you now.
No. There's nothing. No one.
Somehow I don't believe that.
You're a man. You're strong. You don't know about the emptiness, the loneliness.
Well, maybe not, but just the same as... Oh, by the way, my name's Randy Lane. What's yours?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I get it.
Oh, it's not that I want...
Oh, that's all right. Skip it. But I'd like to straighten you out on one thing.
Yes.
Don't get the idea that a woman can't be just as strong as any man. Why, one of the strongest, most courageous people I know is a woman.
Your wife?
No, my mother.
Oh.
And that's where I'm taking you when Lefty gets back with the truck.
Oh, but I don't want to bother anyone. Let me go back.
Now, look, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't even matter what's bothering you. But tonight, you're my responsibility, and I'm taking you home.
Oh, but I can't go to your house. Your mother won't want me. I'm a stranger.
Well, you may be a stranger to me, but you won't be a stranger to my mother.
In the flickering light of the fire, Randy looked at the young girl searchingly. He wondered who she was, where she'd come from, what her story was. She was a lovely young thing, he thought. And at that moment at the Lane farm, Lefty Larkin burst through the kitchen door. Aunt Mary looked up, astonished at his rather wild appearance.
Why, Lefty.
Oh, hello, Aunt Mary.
What on earth?
Now, don't get excited, Aunt Mary. There's been a little accident. I've got to get the keys to the truck.
Lefty, what's wrong? Where's Randy?
Randy's all right. He's down at the river by the bridge.
At the river? I don't... Lefty, what are you doing without your jacket?
I can't explain everything now. I put it around the girl.
What girl? What are you talking about?
Oh, some girl who fell off the bridge.
Oh, Lefty. No.
Yeah, the railing gave way. Randy went in after her. He got her out all right. Now I've got to take the truck back.
Well, of course. You must bring her here.
Yeah, we'll be back right away.
Well, hurry, Lefty. It's so cold and windy. They must be freezing out there in wet clothes. I'll get a bed ready.
Yeah, and you better call Doc Lewis, Aunt Mary. I'm afraid that young woman's in pretty bad shape. She's had quite a shock.
Well, of course she has, the poor thing. I'll call the doctor right away. Oh, wait, Lefty. Better take a blanket with you.
Okay. Now, don't worry, Aunt Mary. She's going to be all right.
Oh, I hope so. Lefty,
Yes, Aunt Mary?
do you know who the girl is? Is she someone from around here?
No, I don't. I never saw her before.
Quickly, Aunt Mary went about making preparations for the strange young woman's comfort. Warming blankets by the kitchen stove, getting out the hot water bottle and the bottle of brandy which was kept in the house for just such emergencies. It didn't matter to Aunt Mary that she didn't know the name of the young woman, but even if she had known it, the name Lisa Fenner would have meant nothing to her. Lisa Fenner, who in a few minutes would find shelter in Aunt Mary's house. The last thing Kit Meade would have wanted.